All right, let's unpack this. We are taking a deep dive today into something pretty revealing. It's excerpts from the Path to Purpose magazine vision.
Right.
And our mission really is just to understand, based only on what's written here, what this magazine is actually all about. You know, its purpose, who it's for, its whole approach.
hmm And digging into a vision statement like this is always interesting, isn't it? It kind of lays bare the why behind it all.
Yeah.
Why they think this magazine needs to exist. What gap it's trying to fill for readers according to their own plan.
Exactly. And the text, well, it kicks off immediately with quite a statement. Calls the magazine more than just a publication, it's a calling.
Wow. Okay.
That language alone, it suggests something like mission-driven, right? Beyond just putting out content. It says it exists to provide a powerful platform.
Wonderful platform.
Yeah, for individuals, ministries, organizations, basically to share their journey, faith, purpose, transformation, all that.
And that right there, that really highlights how central personal stories are. The vision explicitly says, we believe that every story matters.
Right.
That's not just a nice little phrase. In this context, it means personal testimony is like the main engine here. It's about the power of sharing the journey itself, not just the neat outcome, but the messy bits too, the transformation part.
Which leads straight into why share these stories. The text is pretty clear on that. It's meant to ignite faith in others who may be walking through their own struggles or searching for their purpose. So stories do double booty here. They validate the person sharing and hopefully offer some light or hope for the reader who's maybe still in the thick of it. It frames being vulnerable not as like a weakness, but as a way to connect and encourage.
That focus on struggle and searching, that seems key.
Yeah.
Really suggests the target audience isn't only people who feel they've sort of arrived,
Good point.
but maybe more those who are actively in process. The vision mentions featuring, quote, inspiring stories of hope, divine encounters, and lives changed through faith. It positions the magazine as a kind of celebration of living intentionally for God, boldly, authentically, and purposefully. So it's this blend, acknowledging the struggle, but also celebrating that intentional living. It's a dynamic they want to capture.
And the stakes, well, according to this vision document, they seem pretty high. It talks about these shared experiences, whether it's a personal breakthrough, a ministry's work, whatever, impacting the kingdom in ways you may never imagine.
Impact the kingdom. That's significant phrasing.
It really elevates the stated purpose, doesn't it? Beyond just inspiring one person here or there. It suggests a kind of broader spiritual goal tied to every story shared.
And what's fascinating is how their approach, relying so heavily on these personal stories, these testimonies, becomes the method for reaching that big goal. It seems designed for believers, yes, but maybe specifically those who learn best through hearing about others' journeys.
Or feel called to share their own story, perhaps.
Exactly. As a way to minister or encourage, it really feels like it's about communal transformation driven by these shared experiences.
The vision also briefly mentions introducing visionary partners. Their role, it says, is to help keep the magazine in alignment and on track of its main goal and purpose.
Okay.
Now, the text doesn't detail exactly how they do that, but including them in the vision itself suggests, an intentional effort to stay focused, to keep that direction aligned with the mission they've set out, probably through guidance or support.
So if we kind of pull back from the details for a second, the big picture message from this vision document seems to be that Path to Purpose magazine sees itself as this vital platform,
Right.
using authentic, faith-driven personal stories, and not just for individual inspiration, but really as a strategic tool, building community, sparking faith in people facing challenges, and ultimately aiming for that larger spiritual impact.
Yeah, it's all built on that fundamental belief, isn't it? That there's real power and purpose baked into every single believer's story.
Exactly. It's this idea that your specific journey, your unique experience, might just be a really valuable piece of the puzzle for someone else out there, which, leaves you, the listener, with maybe something to think about. Given this magazine's deep conviction that every story matters, that it holds light for others, just consider the potential impact tucked away in your own experiences.
Yeah.
Your own story.
Yeah.
What potential is just sitting there in maybe being willing to share it, or even just in really, truly listening to the stories around you?
A powerful thought to end on. And that wraps up our deep dive into the vision behind Path to Purpose magazine.